Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your girl Alana Simone. So first of all, I wanted to welcome you guys in. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. If you have been here for a while, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about God doesn't base maturity or measure maturity by age. And so, I think this is really important because, oftentimes I feel like, especially my generation, we get discouraged sometimes. We feel like, sometimes people can make us feel like we can't speak up, that, we're young and we don't really know what we're talking about. But let me tell you that, God really desires for us to start to speak up. He desires for us to come forth and love and purity and all of who he has created us to be. And so oftentimes we get discouraged, or we can feel like, it's just us. We're the only ones speaking, especially if you're living for God, especially if you're trying to do something different. Sometimes we can feel alone. Sometimes we can feel discouraged. But let me tell you today that God sees us so much differently than people sees us. He sees us as, first of all, he thinks that we're amazing. He thinks that we're just so important. We're so important and precious to him. And so oftentimes we don't even know that he thinks that about us, because people can make us sometimes feel less than. They can make us feel like we're not worthy of a lot of things. But let me tell you, God doesn't think that. God sees us as big. He sees us as powerful. He sees us as beacons of light, of beacons of change. He sees us differently than people sees us. And so we need to recognize that. We need to understand that. God has given us the authority to be able to set people free, to be able to pray for people, to be able to love people, to be able to change the world. And so oftentimes what happens is we don't even recognize the authority and the power that he has given us in the earth and in the world. And so we oftentimes feel discouraged. We oftentimes feel like maybe we're the only ones out here living for God. We're the only ones out here living right or trying to do right. And so we just kind of keep to ourselves. We kind of just lay low. Like, we're going to do what God tells us to do, but we ain't going to broadcast it to the world. But let me tell you, it's time for us to get up. It's time for us to rise up. If you're that person who feels like, you've been all alone, or you felt like maybe you have been believing God, doing what he said, but you just kind of been in the background. You kind of been, on the sidelines, like, I'm not really going to say nothing. I'm here. I'm going to still follow God. I'm going to still obey. But I'm not really going to come forth. No, today I'm calling you forth. And I'm calling you out of hiding. Because why? It is important for us to rise up. It is important for us to come forth like never before. This is the prime time that God is using and raising up people, our generation, to be able to speak the things that he has called us to speak, to be able to change the world. This is the time for us to no longer back down and bow down to the things of this world. This is the time for us to come forth in boldness, to come forth in purity, to come forth in righteousness. This is the time for us to come forth like never before. And so we need to understand that. It's no more time for hiding. It's no more time for feeling like we're less than. It's no more time for feeling like we're not worthy. God has called us worthy. God has called us forth. This is our time. And so we need to understand that the more that we rise up, the more that we come forth, the more impact that we'll have over this world, the more change that we will see, the more lives that will be saved, the more souls that will be saved. We have to understand that he has given us the authority to be able to do these things in this world. And so we need to recognize that the time of slumber, the time of being in the background is over. It's time to come forth. It's time to come forth because God is calling us to come forth. And so it's a powerful thing when we recognize when one comes forth, the amount and the change that can happen. But just imagine when an army rises up. Just imagine when more people start coming, when 1 becomes 2, when 2 becomes 3, when 3 becomes 4, when 4 becomes 4,000. Just imagine the impact that we'll have. Just imagine the lives that will be changed forever. And so oftentimes we feel like, you know, especially when you truly know God, when you truly are intimate with him, you feel so close to him. You feel like you're safer with him, which is the truth. The safest place we can be with is Jesus. The safest place we can be with is God. But we have to understand that God is calling us forward. He's calling us forward into the things that he has for us. And so we have to know that when he calls us forth, he's not going to leave us. He's not going to be like, okay, all right, you're out here now, bye. I'm going to leave you. No, he's calling us and he's going with us. He's even going before us to fight the battles that we haven't even seen it. He's already won. He's already got the victory. He just wants us to come with him and partner with him. So just know this is our time. This is our time to rise up. This is our time to rise forward. Know that God does not measure our age, our maturity off of our age. He sees us as big. He sees us as powerful. He sees us as something different than the world sees us. And he knows the power if we unite with him and unite together and come together, the impact that will cause on the world. He sees and knows the change that we will cause to come forth. He knows and recognizes it. So we have to understand that this is our time. This is our time to come forth, guys. This is our time. And so, you know, if you've been sitting back contemplating, if you've been sitting back in the back burners, in the sidelines, let me tell you today, this is a war cry to come on out, to come forth like never before, to speak the things that God has given you, to even do the things that God has given you, whether that has been, he's been telling you to do a blog, he's been telling you to get on YouTube, he's been telling you to do ministry, he's been telling you to do missions, he's been telling you to do Facebook posts, Facebook lives, whatever it is he's telling you to do. It's time to do it. The time is now, and it's ready or not, it is time. Ready or not, it is time. And so we need to understand this is our time. This is the time to do exactly what he has called us to do and to come forth into it. No more hiding. No more going behind the scene. No more saying, well, I'm doing it and I'm doing a little. No, you're doing it. You're going to come forth like never before. You're doing it. You're going to see the changes that you're going to see. This time is different. This time you're going to see what he has spoken to you. This time in your obedience, you're going to see the manifestation of what he has called you to do and what he has told you to do. You're going to see it in a different way, in a different light. So just know that this is your time. This is the time for us to come out of hiding. This is the time for us to come forth like never before. So just know I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. This is our time, guys. This is our time to come forth in power, in love, in purity, in authority like never before. This is our time to see God do amazing things in the earth. This is our time. This is our time. So just know this is our time. Just know that God is with you. God has always been with you. This is our time. This is our time. This is our time. So just know the battle's already won. The victory is ours. And God is about to do some amazing things in this world. So just be ready. Just be ready because the time has come. So I just thank you and praise you, Lord, in Jesus' name. And I just thank God for you. And I just thank him for the amazing things that he's about to do through you after you hear this message and after you start stepping forth into the things that he has called you to do. So thank you guys so much for being here. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.